In the heart of Transylvania, we found Sighisoara, a magical little town where it feels like time has literally stood still. The second you walk through its old gates, the modern world just fades away. You'll start to imagine the clatter of horse-drawn carts on the cobblestones and hear the faint chimes of the ancient clock tower. This isn't just another tourist spot. It's a real, breathing medieval citadel, one of the very last in Europe where people have never stopped living. Every colorful house, hidden alley, and worn-down wall has a story to tell, creating a fairy tale vibe you just can't find anywhere else. The whole old town is so beautiful and well-preserved that it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Unlike a lot of historic cities that have been heavily rebuilt, Sighisoara gives you an authentic peek into what life was like in a fortified medieval town. As you wander the winding streets, you'll spot cool architectural details, all hints of the city's prosperous past. The story of Sighisoara is really the story of the Transylvanian Saxons. Back in the 12th century, the kings of Hungary invited German craftsmen and merchants to settle here. Their job was to farm the land, kickstart trade, and most importantly, defend the Transylvanian border. These hard-working folks founded 7 major fortified towns, known as the Siebenbergen, and Sighisoara grew to be one of the most important and best defended of them all. But Sighisoara's claim to fame goes way beyond its Saxon roots and into the world of legends. It's here, in a pretty ordinary-looking house just off the main square, that a guy was born who would become both a historical figure and a literary superstar. Vlad III, the Prince of Wallachia. While he was a big deal in his own time, known for some seriously brutal punishments, you probably know him by his scarier name, Vlad the Impaler. Get ready to be enchanted as we uncover the secrets of Sighisoara. We'll dig into the stories behind the towers, admire the architecture, and just soak in the amazing atmosphere. This is more than a tour. It's an adventure into the past. Let's get started. Our adventure begins with the absolute king of Sighisoara's skyline, the clock tower. Standing 64 meters tall, this tower isn't just the main gate to the citadel, it's the city's heart and soul. It was built way back in the 14th century as a simple gate tower, but it quickly became much more. It even served as the city council's headquarters until 1556. With its vaults protecting the city's precious archives and treasures. If you look up at its roof, you'll notice 4 little turrets on the corners. Back in the day, this was a big deal. It was a symbol that the city had the authority to make its own laws, including the right to carry out the death penalty. The tower's incredible roof is actually the result of a disaster. A huge fire in 1676 wrecked much of the city and destroyed the tower's original top. Austrian artists were brought in to build the gorgeous, multicolored Baroque roof and dome we see today. But the tower's coolest feature is its amazing clock, which was installed in 1648. On the side facing the lower town, you can see a quirky collection of wooden figurines. There's Peace holding an olive branch, a little drummer who bangs his drum every hour, and a figure of justice to remind everyone of the city's power. Located right next to the clock tower, you'll find the elegant monastery's church. This beautiful Gothic church used to be part of a larger Dominican monastery complex. First mentioned way back in 1298. The original monastery buildings were torn down in the 19th century to build the city hall, but luckily the church was saved. After the Protestant Reformation in the 16th century, the church was handed over to the Saxon Lutheran community. It's a great testament to Sighisoara's complex religious history, from its Catholic beginnings to its long Lutheran tradition. Alright, here's the one you've probably been waiting for. Nestled among the colorful houses near the clock tower is the famous Vlad Dracul house. This rust-colored building is easy to spot thanks to the wrought iron dragon hanging over the door, a hint about its legendary former resident. According to local tradition, this is the very house where Vlad III, the future Vlad the Impaler, was born around 1431. His father, Vlad II, was a member of the Order of the Dragon, a group of knights sworn to protect Christianity. For this, he was given the name Dracul, from the Romanian word for dragon. He lived in this house while he was in exile from his home territory of Wallachia, and it was during this time that his infamous son was born. The house itself is one of the oldest stone buildings in the city, so it's a real, tangible link to the 15th century. Today, the building definitely plays up its famous connection. The ground floor is a medieval-themed restaurant where you can grab a bite. For a small fee, you can head upstairs to a room that has been decorated in a theatrical Gothic style to look like Vlad's birthplace. It's a bit touristy, but it's still a lot of fun, especially if you're a Dracula fan. Visiting the Vlad Dracul house is a must-do. Even if the inside is a bit commercialized, just standing outside in front of it connects you to a wild piece of Romanian history. It's a place where the line between the real prince and the fictional vampire gets wonderfully blurry, perfectly capturing the mix of history and legend that makes Sighisoara so cool. As you're looking at the houses in the Citadel Square, one just feels different. That's the Venetian house. This 16th century building stands out because of its beautiful windows, which are framed in a delicate Venetian Gothic style, just like the palaces you'd see in Venice. How did a piece of Venice end up in Transylvania? Well, there's a romantic local legend about it. The story goes that a mayor of Sighisoara fell in love with a woman from Venice and built this house for her, in the style of her homeland, to make her feel at home. While we don't know if the love story is true, the house is a clear sign that Sighisoara's merchants traveled far and wide, bringing back new ideas and artistic styles. It's a beautiful symbol of cultural exchange, a little piece of Italy right in the heart of a Saxon world. Once you step through the clock tower's archway, you're in the historic heart of the old town, the Citadel Square. For more than 500 years, this cobblestone plaza was the center of everything. Just imagine it bustling with medieval markets, with merchants shouting and selling their goods. Picture town criers making big announcements and serious public trials taking place right here. There even used to be a pillar of infamy in the middle of the square, where people who committed minor crimes were publicly shamed. The square is framed by some of the city's most beautiful old buildings, all painted in lovely shades of ochre, green, and blue. It's a gorgeous mix of Transylvanian Renaissance and Baroque styles. Today, the square has a much more relaxed and inviting vibe. It's dotted with charming outdoor cafes and restaurants, the perfect place to grab a coffee and just soak it all in. In the summer, the square becomes the main stage for the Sighisoara Medieval Festival, where the whole city dresses up like knights and ladies to celebrate its amazing past with music, dance, and reenactments. To really appreciate the Citadel Square, just take your time. It's small enough that you can stroll around, admiring the details on each building. Grab a seat on a bench and just watch the world go by. This square has been the center of community life for centuries, and you can still feel that powerful sense of history in the air. You can't miss the Stag House when you're in the Citadel Square. It's one of Sighisoara's most iconic buildings, and it gets its name from the amazing mural painted on its outer corner. A huge stag's head, with its antlers stretching realistically across the corner of the wall. It's a super clever and unique feature that makes the house instantly recognizable. The building itself is a fantastic example of Transylvanian Renaissance architecture from the 17th century, though its foundations are probably much older. Its sturdy build and elegant design show off just how wealthy and sophisticated the Saxon merchants who lived here were. Over the centuries, the Stag House has been everything from a private home to a fancy inn. Today, it keeps that tradition of hospitality alive as a hotel, restaurant, and cultural center. It's a living piece of history. When you're in the square, take a moment to look at the house from different angles and appreciate how the stag mural uses the corner to create a cool 3D effect. It's a proud symbol of the city's artistic and prosperous past. Tucked away in a corner of the Citadel Square, you'll find something really special. The Covered Stairway, this charming wooden tunnel, is one of Sighisoara's most iconic spots. It was built back in 1642 for a very practical reason: to give students and churchgoers a sheltered path up the steep hill to the school and the church on the hill, protecting them from the heavy snow and wind in the winter. Walking up the stairway is an experience you won't forget. As you step inside, the noise from the square disappears, and all you hear is the creak of your footsteps on the old wooden stairs. The air is cool and smells of aged timber. Sunlight filters through the wooden slats, creating a beautiful pattern of light and shadow on the steps. It feels less like a staircase and more like a time tunnel, taking you from the busy commercial part of the city to the quiet, sacred ground at the top. The staircase is a masterpiece of Saxon carpentry. That sturdy timber frame has been standing for nearly 400 years. Originally, it had 300 steps, but in 1849, they made some changes to make the climb a bit easier, reducing the number to the 175 steps you'll climb today. It's easy to imagine generations of students, all bundled up, rushing up these very same steps on their way to class. It's an unforgettable part of the Sighisoara experience and a beautiful journey in its own right. When you emerge from the top of the covered stairway, you're greeted by the peaceful and impressive church on the hill. This is one of the most important Gothic churches in all of Romania and was the spiritual heart of the Saxon community for centuries. Building it was a huge project that started in 1345 and wasn't finished until 1525. That's nearly 200 years. This shows just how dedicated the people here were. With its simple, powerful bell tower and massive stone walls, it almost looks like a fortress. Built in the 14th century, the Tailor's Tower stands opposite the famous clock tower, guarding the second entrance into the citadel of Sighisoara. Known for its imposing size and simple design, it's considered one of the most beautiful and striking towers in the fortress. The tower's two passages at its base suggest it was built early on, likely sometime in the late 12th or 14th century. These gateways once held ancient vertical railings that could slide up and down. In 1676, a fire broke out. At the time, the tower was being used to store a large amount of military supplies, including grain, breastplates, halberds, 2 long guns, and a significant quantity of gunpowder. The gunpowder ignited, causing a massive explosion that destroyed the tower's upper section and the northwest corridor. The tower's current look is the result of restorations following the fire. After the initial repairs, the northwest corridor was used as a warehouse until 1935. Following this, the vault was finally restored to its original design and reopened to the public. The earliest mention of the bootmaker's tower dates back to 1522. In 1676, a fire completely destroyed the original tower, which had been storing a large quantity of gunpowder. A new tower was rebuilt in 1681 under the direction of Major Michael Helwig. The new structure was designed in the Baroque style. Although relatively short, the current tower has several unique features. It has a pentagonal plan with an outer diameter of 10 meters. The roof is topped with 2 small observation towers, one facing southeast and the other northwest. An artillery bastion that was part of the tower was demolished in 1846. According to the city's general registry, which maintains an inventory of past armaments, the tower once held a variety of weapons, including arquebus, muskets, spears, and a two-handed sword. The tower's appearance has changed over time. After World War II, it was converted into an archive for official documents, which led to significant changes in its facade. In 2001, an exterior wooden staircase was added. While this recent restoration doesn't align with the tower's original architecture, it doesn't significantly detract from the monument's overall look. The St. Joseph's Roman Catholic Church is a striking landmark on the northeastern side of the Sighisoara citadel, situated close to the old city walls. Built by Hungarians from 1894 to 1896, this church distinguishes itself from the city's two main churches, which were constructed by Transylvanian Saxons. Architect Franz Letz created an eclectic design for the 30-meter-long monument, incorporating a blend of Gothic and Neo-Romanesque styles. A notable feature is its exceptionally tall belfry on the northern side. Okay, let's step out of the medieval world for a second and check out the Sighisoara City Hall. This grand, palace-like building was built in the late 1880s. It was a symbol of the city stepping into the modern age. The building has functioned as the City Hall of Sighisoara from its inauguration until the present day, but also hosts concerts and public cultural events in its large, imposing hall on the first floor. Before the Sighisoara City Hall was built, the city's administration was located inside the clock tower. The building is a gorgeous example of the Neo-Renaissance style that was popular in the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It's very symmetrical, with elegant arches and decorative columns. Today, it still serves its original purpose as the city's administrative headquarters. Seeing the City Hall is essential for understanding the full story of Sighisoara, how it grew from a medieval fortress into a modern Romanian town.